Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. We have Charles Tichenor the Fort, or IV, like I like to call him today. We're gonna get a Facebook ads IV because he's a top 100 advertiser on the Facebook ads platform, 1 billion plus revenue driven. He's the creator of the 322 method, and yeah, interesting guy altogether in LA. I'm in Oaxaca, Mexico. We're gonna get a Facebook ads course today, and I'm gonna ask him a bunch of questions about other ads platform that are interesting for us founders to get great ROI because there's so many choices nowadays. Podpire.com is presenting that one. Podpire is my podcasting agency if you want to start a podcast and monetize through Google AdSense slash YouTube AdSense. If you want to get revenue through leads and through sponsors, you can go to podpire.com. We've got a free ebook there and a masterclass if you want to follow that one. Charles, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, so I mean, you kind of covered a lot of it. I've been doing the paid social game for 12, 13 years now. Worked with everybody under the sun, been teaching most people how to do things, and a lot of bright new ideas or things I came up with years ago, and I've been just basically trying to help people be successful. My big thing is that Facebook ads has actually never been easier, and it has never been more accessible for people that use the platform in the right way. And I also think that we've rarely seen an environment where so many low integrity operators are taking advantage of so many people trying to be successful. So if there's anything we can do today to completely undermine them and put the power back in the hands of the people, I'm all about it. That's my entire thing. More success, less stress, so you can spend your time doing the things in life that actually matter instead of worrying about your ads and sitting in the ad account day trading stuff and wasting just years of your life being drained away from all the stress and pain and frustration. It's just completely unnecessary.
And tell me about Charles himself. Like, who are you? What's your background? Like, what are your values? What makes a Charles a Charles?
Sure. I mean, as a fellow Charles, I'll speak for the Charlies of the group. Uh, yeah, my background, I was a touring musician and I was a Sirius XM radio personality. Hulk Hogan's sex tape ruined my radio career, and then I moved to LA to get sober. That was in 2012. I've been doing paid media and organic social growth hacking stuff since then. And founded a couple agencies, founded a couple brands, been client side, SaaS side, server side, every side of the business you could possibly be in. And around 2017, 2018, I was a founding member of the Facebook Disruptor Group, which is the top advertisers in the world, and really wrote the manual on how to use the platform 6, 7 years ago, and have been on the cutting edge ever since. And over the last few years, generally on a regular basis, I'll help one or two brands a year get to 8 or 9 figures or take an exit. And I founded my school to help other people see the success of all the high end folks. And it means a lot to me that I've got thousands of students around the world and hundreds of folks that I work with directly be able to fire their agencies, grow their brands, and achieve their dreams on a lot less work, and really spend most of their time doing the things they enjoy doing instead of worrying about most of the stuff that completely can be done by the platform. So that's a lot of my background, and as short I could possibly make it. But yeah, hopefully that gives us enough time to spend as much time as possible helping people.
Right. Let's start with you getting clean. Like, how did that happen? That's a humongous challenge, probably the greatest challenge you ever surmounted in your life. How did that
Sure.
happen?
Well, I had the choice of either shooting more heroin and dying or not, and I'm really stubborn. And so for me, I moved 2,000 miles across the country to live on the side of live in a small town in California where I didn't know anybody, and I basically put together a complete new life with nobody that I was an active user with. Built a new identity around all of that. Got a $10 an hour job, and you played music and put a life together built around something different than what it was before. I mean, I think there are a lot of different ways for people to do it. I think a lot of people try and can't get it done. I think a lot of people struggle with things, and I don't think that there's any right or wrong way. I think at some point people are ready to do it. I think at some point some people are capable of doing it, and I think that it's an internal struggle that everybody will have to deal with if that's your thing. It took me over a decade to get there, and now I've been there for, I've been clean now longer than I was strung out, and I was strung out for over
Wow.
10 years. So that's a big thing. But for me, what worked was building a fellowship with other people who were sober and just kind of building a new identity and getting away from everything before. But not everybody has that opportunity. That won't necessarily work for everyone. And I'm not here to tell anybody the right or wrong way to get things done. I'm just, what worked for me is all I can give people.
Congrats. So you've been close to death. It's fair to say, right? Like 10 years, you never know what you're gonna shoot and
Yeah.
what reactions gonna have. So that's a humongous victory. Then the second one that caught my attention is the Hulk Hogan sex tape. I read the Ryan Holiday book, right? That's detailing the debacles there. So what happened?
So I was on a radio. I was on Sirius XM, satellite radio. I was a part of a thing called Bubba the Love Sponge Radio Network.
Okay.
That was a subsidiary of the Howard Stern Radio Networks and was being funded by Hulk Hogan. The Hulk Hogan sex tape was basically Hulk Hogan having sex with Bubba's wife. They were all in on it. Like, it wasn't like anybody was cheating. It's just Bubba also had a camera set up, and then there was a whole bunch of other drama. And so basically when lawsuits began to fly, Hulk Hogan pulled his money. Howard Stern basically said, I don't need any of this nonsense. This is stupid. And instead of, being on air to a couple million people around the world, there were chains on the door, and like you had to start a new life. So Bubba's back up and running and doing his stuff. But yeah, that puts a damper on your career when you're the person relying on the radio and the station goes away. So that was the impetus to make a change.
And what did you learn from that career? How did that propel you to what you're doing today?
I mean, I think doing a lot of radio for a long time allowed me to learn how to communicate to people. I think it also helped me really get good at being able to relate to different individuals, and it also channeled a bit of my creativity and entertainment side, which has dramatically helped my YouTube channel, my social media content. I was a touring musician and a radio guy, so like I spent a lot of time on stage in front of people. So it allowed me to get really honest. It allowed me to not really have anything to be afraid of. There's no fear, there's no shame, there's no like secrets or anything. And the ability to be incredibly honest, straightforward, without holding stuff back, and communicate in a way that people can take in. Especially when like the break is like 7 minutes and 42 seconds, and you have to cut it at like the commercial because otherwise you get fined. Like when you have to deal with those constraints, you do that over and over and over and over again. I think it gives you the reps to be able to channel that type of energy and that type of communication. And for me, I put that into education for individuals, and I think that really translates when people see the way that I communicate, and also a lot of the content. I mean, my YouTube channel now is getting hundreds of subs a day. I mean, I'm getting like a couple thousand new people every month. And that's great because that's more and more people that get the chance to take ownership of their experience and no longer be beholden to a lot of other individuals. And to be fair, most of the gurus and experts and people I see out there are either repeating something I said years ago, or have no idea what they're talking about, or know that what they're saying is bad, but they're just trying to steal from you. Most people fall into those three categories. So if I can just be giving the information right away up front for free, then I'm doing my job of undermining all the, as I said before, low integrity operators, which is, in my opinion, the right way of giving back.
Right. Well, okay, let's take it from the basics. You said that Facebook ads was easier than ever.
Yes.
Is that because Facebook deployed like a very basic onboarding tool, like just like Google Express did back in the days? Because I've been back on Facebook ads and it was confusing as fuck, you know.
Mhm.
I've been using Facebook ads for a while, been running many of my businesses on it. I even had a Facebook ads agency for probably like 3 to 4 years. Why do you think it is easier? And also, I would think that the competition is bigger nowadays, so that the cost per click might be higher. Am I wrong on saying this?
I mean, I think there's a few things there. One, the Google Express ads thing, that's not really, I think, what makes Facebook easy. They have made entry level tools that make it really accessible. Like if you are a brand that has a lot of different products and you're getting attention from someplace, you just need to kind of add something in. They have catalog ads, which is a lot like Google Shopping. Google Shopping is a ripoff of Facebook catalog ads. If you're a brand that makes a ton of content and is going viral on TikTok all the time, you can take that content and immediately put it directly into advantage shopping campaigns where the ads will only last for 3 to 5 days, maybe a couple weeks. But because making content isn't your problem, you can still buy more and more attention. I think if you're a brand that's just trying to get things started out, like you can promote your Instagram account and start to really grow. I think once you know what to do, then it becomes really easy to get that thing done. What I mean by Facebook is never been this easy is that the AI has never been smarter. It has never required a lower amount of day-to-day operations. I mean, I will say, I think maybe 10 years ago, you could make a lot more money. Like the profit margins were a lot higher. And it was really easy for anybody to throw up a picture of a brick and make $1 million. But that meant that you had to sit in it all day long and basically day trade it. Now you can do an hour or two a week and be far more stable, far more predictable, far more projectable, but it does require you to have a good business. And so if you have a business that works and you are able to do the front end of setting things up, and if you don't know how to do that, I put up multiple courses on my YouTube channel that literally go from like, this is how to make a Facebook page, this is how to create a pixel, how to put it on your website, like everything you need to go 0 to 1 to getting ads set up. And then I have another thing on there that's like how to optimize and how to scale and how to build ads that work. Like everything you need to know is really easy and accessible. The tools to take advantage of your strengths are there. You no longer have to be good at Facebook ads to have Facebook be successful. You just have to know what is the one thing I really want to invest money in amplifying in my business model. And if you understand the one thing that's most important for your business and you can use ads to amplify that opportunity, it has never taken less hands-on work than it does today. I think where most people screw it up is there's way too many buttons, way too many options, way too many metrics, they get completely confused. Great. If that's your problem, I made a YouTube channel where I go through literally everything. And not in a way to sell you on stuff, just to make it easy, because like it is easy once you know where to go. Okay, so here's your roadmap, your guidebook, and your legends. You know everything. But
Right.
also on top of that, I think people get really confused because they don't know what to promote. They don't know what they should be doing. And often that's because they're not very good at business. And I think that's why most people are unsuccessful. It's become really easy with Amazon and Shopify and TikTok, etc., for basically anybody to set up a business, anybody to get something going on e-commerce. But that doesn't mean that your business is actually good or you know what you should be doing. And I think if you don't know where to throw more money at something, then you shouldn't be running ads. So it also is easier for more and more people to fail because it's really easy for a lot of people to get a really bad business off the ground.
Right. Okay. And you keep on mentioning that, yeah, it's not to sell people, but like, yeah, I mean, we're all selling something. What do you sell? Like, what's your product suit? And yeah, give us some numbers here about your programs.
Yeah. So, I mean, my thing is primarily, I mean, I'm inside of businesses. I have, equity deals and I'm partners in a lot of e-commerce business and SaaS companies and like, I've got all this stuff, right? So my bread's getting buttered elsewhere, right? One of the things that I do to try to give back, make amends, and make the world a better place, plus I see so many people suffering because of bad information that's out there. I have a school that I set up where I basically just walk people through everything. Now, everything that you need to know is available for free on YouTube, right? Like I put up I put up, I think I have more content than anybody else. I mean, honestly, I think I've got over 10,000 videos up on my YouTube channel now. Like it is obnoxious. I go, there's lives every single day. There's multiple shorts every day. It's a lot. Now, on top of that, I have a thing called Disruptor School where you can come in. Disruptor School, we have master classes and ebooks so you can teach yourself. We also have an inner circle so you can join a bit of a community to ask other people questions. And I go in there every other week to basically just like office hours, come in, ask your questions. I'll walk you through everything you need to know. There's that support so that you're not alone, which I think is really important. On top of that, we have something called the Facebook Ads MBA program where I can basically turn anybody into a world-class CMO, VP of marketing, like operator in a couple of months. It's kind of like Code Academy. You can go from I don't know how to build programs to I can make a six-figure income writing software for anybody. It's the same kind of thing. We've had hundreds of people go through the MBA program. Not a single person that's ever done it has ever asked for their money back. And in Disruptor School, I mean, it's really hard to know all the numbers, but we've had thousands of people come through, and I mean, it is a really powerful experience for a lot of people. And I think the number one thing that speaks to me is how many folks say that they've gone from a space of being stressed out and confused and potentially going to give up to having confidence, having a plan, and hiring people. And I think like creating jobs instead of giving up on your dreams is the greatest, value I think that I can give people. But on my own right, like, I mean, I've got some accounts where, I've spent $1 million a day before. I've got accounts where I'm spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions in revenue. We've had brands come in at $50,000 a month and leave doing millions a week. Like, it's not, that stuff is easy. It's making it accessible for people that I think is something that I really pride myself on. And that's what you find at Disruptors.
Sure. So you have low ticket stuff, 197s for master classes done by other folks, which is super interesting. And you have 6.5K full bundle that you're selling, so more on the high ticket side.
Yeah.
How much does that bank you on a yearly basis, and what are your goals for next year?
I mean, I'll say this: my take home last year, my taxes were on 7 figures. I actually made a YouTube video about like showing the legitimacy of the business by just giving my actual tax paperwork live. I went through it like this is how I made $1 million, right? And so like my plan for this next year is we are expanding the inner circle stuff to really try and expand that community, and really doubling down on just content stuff. Like my primary goal is the primary focus is to basically make it so that you either come to the school because you need to ask questions, you want support, or the free content alone is enough for you to never have to pay anybody else. Like that's my primary focus, is making it so accessible and easy that anybody can do it, because it hasn't been this simple before.
So literally from junkie to multimillionaire, that's an amazing turnaround story. Do you feel that some of your core, some of your genes, I'm OCD and obsessed myself, and I'm on the addiction spectrum too. Do you feel that these skills, you've sort of transferred them to business, and
Sure.
that's mostly been responsible for like all that success nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, I think any good junkie can manipulate people. I think a lot of folks get into addiction because there's some inner drive that's pushing them to a certain place where they're motivated to do things above and beyond reason to something that is unrealistic and unhealthy. And to be fair, most really great business owners are also very much like that. Like some of the most successful business owners I know are working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And it's not because they have to, it's because like me, I basically retired 5 years ago. Like I haven't had a day job since 2018, like 2020, 2019, whatever. Like I quit my last job a month before my wedding, and I paid for the wedding in cash. And I basically sit around all day. I got my wife and I, we have a house here in LA. We have an apartment in New York City. We have a beautiful daughter. We have a couple dogs. I basically spend all day helping people and making content, and then running a couple businesses, which are all there's agency services, there's, educational services, there's like little things like that, and consulting for people. Like, I basically get to solve puzzles all day and help people be successful. And so I think that if I had determined that like what I need to do is get a job and have stability, I'd be a really hard working person trying to make six figures.
Yeah,
But I would also, be able to leave the office. I
right.
live basically my phone is attached to me all the time. I think that obsession is something that if you are unfit as an employee, the reasons that you are singularly motivated, obsessed, and unsatisfied without the control are the same skills that can make you a really strong founder. But people aim those skills at all sorts of things. It's just now I'm getting my junkie fix from people like that. That's sort of my amends and where I get my juice from every day.
Right. Yeah. And do you feel at peace with being obsessed with work? And is the fix more helping people or seeing the cash in your bank account? And
It's
I'm asking this question genuinely. Like because
yeah.
me,
I
I
mean,
would get a higher fix from seeing cash in my bank account than the heart feeling of helping someone. I mean, I love helping people, right? But the adrenaline comes when I see that 5K hit my bank account on a daily
sure.
basis.
I'll say this: it was absolutely the money early on, um, but at some point, like it's a position of like of having it, right? But like I had a $10 an hour job and got fired from data entry because like I worked out for 3 months and I was fired. I was a pizza delivery man. I got fired. Like I'm unemployable. And then like I we have an apartment in Manhattan. We have a house in LA. The money's coming in. Like I don't even really realize the money. Some days it's like, oh, I got $200 in the bank account. Other days it's like, here's 20,000. Like you just don't think about it anymore. And for me, like knowing, like today I'm going to talk to 3 different people. And if by the end of that today, like I've got a consulting call, a sales call, and then like I've got I've got a couple things. I get to solve the puzzles, which is really fun. It's like playing video games.
Yes.
But like for me, being able to basically hop on camera and make somebody else's life better in a very tangible way and having them come back over and over and over again, that's amazing. Like I legitimately, I'd be lying to tell you that the money doesn't matter, but it really only matters now when it's not there. Because
Right.
it's an assumption that it's going to be there. So now I would feel a lot worse if I wasn't communicating with people. Like if it was all about the money and I never got the endorphins from like person to person contact of like
Right.
sharing what I learned, then I'd be way less motivated.
Right, and you named it well. It's endorphins vs serotonin and dopamine from the cash. So it's different molecules at play. One last question, and yes, like listening to you, I was like, okay, giving your money to Zuckerberg's that like a judicious cause, but then you're helping like business owners, right? And I do think that entrepreneurs are sort of in charge of the well-being of this world that we're building. We're supporting communities, which I think is what a human being should be about. So, yeah, good job on that. But one last question: what are the options that I have as an entrepreneur when it comes to investing on ad platforms? Because I saw some TikTok courses on your website as well. Is Facebook ads still the low hanging fruit out there, or is there better
Yeah,
ways
no,
to invest my money?
that's a great question. So let me answer that as completely as I can, as simply as I can. So if you're running a business, where you make the highest profit is from somebody buying from you a second time. That additional purchase is the highest volume, greatest profit transaction you have. Before that is the first purchase. That first purchase comes with CRO, right? It comes from upsells. It comes from landing page design. It comes from brand development, a bunch of other things. Above that is marketing. The cheapest marketing that is most cost effective is like what we call inventory marketing, right? So it's SMS, right? It's email, stuff like that. That is the most profitable marketing you can do because it's effectively free. Above that, you have intent-based marketing, which is PPC. That's Google, that's Amazon. That's where you care about things like cost per click. You mentioned before, well, the CPCs on Facebook are going up, and my response is I don't care. That doesn't mean anything. It's an irrelevant data point. So if you can turn somebody's intent into getting them to want to buy from you versus somebody else, then Google's great. I think there's a lot of folks where if they just run search ads, like you could easily be successful. Now, you're not the one controlling the environment. You're not really in charge of your own destiny, but you are a competitive salesperson on the sales force. Somebody's got the credit card out and they're trying to figure out which person to buy from. And there's 20 people all selling the exact same thing. It's a sales pitch conversation. And if you're better than the other person, great, you're going to win. Above that is intent creation, which is Facebook ads, TikTok, YouTube, organic and paid. That's the game where if you figure it out, you can power everything else. And that's the game where if you can understand how to control the narrative, you can build a moat around your business and everything else is easier. You can drive people into looking for you. You can get people to your website that are looking for your email. You can get people to buy from you more than once. So in my opinion, there are different platforms that are good for different people. I'm terrible at Google Ads. That's why I have Google Ad Masterclasses. I'm terrible at TikTok stuff, content creation. That's why I have people that teach that stuff. What I can do is teach somebody how to weaponize a machine learning algorithm that touches more people than anything but the sun and can condition human behavior so that you can create a stable and reliable and predictable source of traffic into your business. That's what Facebook does better than anything else.
Love it, Charles. We're gonna have you for round two to discuss more numbers next year. Plus, you have a fascinating story and like the product side of things, right? Because we talked about ads, but people need a great product before they start redirecting broad traffic to there. And you have advice on that, I'm pretty sure. Where can people find out more about you till next time?
Yeah, just check out Disruptor School. It's disruptorschool.com, but honestly, just type it in. If you can't find me, then you shouldn't trust me when it comes to marketing.
All right.
That's my endorsement. Like come and find me. And I highly recommend that you go down the rabbit hole and check as much free stuff out as possible. Like I'm giving it all away. The only reason you should pay me is because you want somebody to answer questions and you want more support.
But financial accountability, right?
Yeah.
Charles,
it's all there.
Thank you for being on today. That was Charles Tichenor. You can find him on LinkedIn as that, and Charles Cormier for another CEO Wisdom Pod.